Before we begin, make sure to hit that subscribe button because today we're rediving into one of the most baffling and persistent mysteries on the planet, the Hessdalen Lights. This isn't just a ghost story or a local legend. It's a real-life phenomenon that has left scientists, the military, and mystery hunters completely stumped for decades. So, where is this magical place? Picture this, Hessdalen Valley, a remote, sparsely populated, and stunningly beautiful region in the heart of Norway. It's surrounded by mountains, quiet, and far from the bright lights of big cities. But starting in the early 1980s, this peaceful valley became the stage for an extraordinary celestial ballet. Locals began reporting strange, silent lights painting across the night sky. These weren't just distant specks, they appeared in a dazzling array of colors: brilliant white, fiery yellow, deep red, and even an eerie blue. Their behavior was just as unpredictable. Sometimes they would just hang there, floating serenely in the darkness for minutes on end. Other times, they'd streak across the sky at incredible speeds, executing hairpin turns and maneuvers that defied everything we know about physics and aviation. Imagine looking out your window night after night and seeing this light show. Between December 1981 and the middle of 1984, the activity reached its peak. At times, the lights were seen up to 20 times a week. It was like the sky over this tiny Norwegian community had turned into a cosmic disco, and no one knew who was controlling the lights. Were they planes, helicopters, weather balloons? No, the locals knew what those looked like, and this was something entirely different. As you can imagine, word got out. The phenomenon became so frequent and so bizarre that it quickly caught the attention of the Norwegian press, and then the world. This wasn't just a handful of blurry photos anymore. It was a consistent, observable event demanding a serious investigation. So, in 1983, a group of scientists and engineers from the University of Oslo and the Norwegian Defense Research Establishment launched Project Hessdalen. They weren't messing around. They brought in an arsenal of scientific equipment: high-resolution cameras, spectrographs to analyze the light's composition, radars to track movement, magnetometers and Geiger counters. They set up an observation post and waited. And they didn't have to wait long. The results they got were stunning. The lights were real. This wasn't mass hysteria or misidentification. They captured them on film, photographed them in detail, and crucially, tracked them on radar. The data confirmed what the witnesses had been saying all along. These objects were solid. They moved with purpose, and their flight patterns were, well, intelligent. They would change direction abruptly, stop on a dime, or accelerate from a dead stop to unbelievable speeds in an instant. The radar readings showed they were not conventional aircraft. They weren't satellites or meteors either. The mystery just got a whole lot deeper. With concrete data in hand, the scientific community scrambled to find an explanation. Theories started flying faster than the lights themselves. One of the first plausible ideas was that the valley was sitting on top of specific rock and mineral deposits. The theory went that the valley floor, rich in copper and zinc on one side and iron on the other, acted like a giant natural battery when submerged in the river's sulfurous water. This could potentially create clouds of ionized gas that would glow as they rose into the air. It's a clever idea, right? A sort of natural atmospheric chemistry. Another popular theory involved something called Coulomb crystals or dusty plasma. The idea is that dust particles from the valley's mines could become electrically charged and form organized glowing structures in the atmosphere. This could explain the ball-like shapes and their slow floating movements. Some scientists even suggested they were a form of ball lightning, a rare and poorly understood phenomenon, but one trapped and sustained by the unique magnetic fields of the valley. But here's the problem. None of these theories could explain everything. They might explain a floating orb of light, but what about the ones that moved at Mach speeds? And more importantly, how do you explain the reports and photographs showing one large light suddenly splitting into several smaller lights, which then move independently before merging back into a single object? That kind of coordinated behavior is incredibly difficult to attribute to a random, natural phenomenon like a pocket of gas or a dust cloud. It suggests a level of complexity and control that nature doesn't typically display, and this is where things take a turn into the truly extraordinary. With conventional science struggling to provide a comprehensive answer, the UFO hypothesis inevitably took center stage. Could Hessdalen be a genuine hotspot for extraterrestrial or non-human activity? The flight characteristics, the silent operation, the impossible speeds, the intelligent maneuvers, all mirrored classic UFO reports from around the world. For ufologists, Hessdalen wasn't just another mystery, it was potentially the smoking gun they had been searching for. Adding fuel to this fire were whispers that the Norwegian military was conducting its own secret investigations. While they never made any public declarations, the presence of military personnel and equipment in the area only intensified the speculation. Why would the military be so interested in a simple weather phenomenon? Were they trying to understand it, or were they trying to intercept it? The mystery of Hessdalen was no longer a local Norwegian affair. It went global. Researchers and scientific teams from Italy, Sweden, France, and even the United States traveled to the valley, setting up their own equipment, hoping to be the ones to finally crack the code. There were even rumors that NASA was monitoring the situation, though no official statements were ever released. The valley had become a pilgrimage site for scientists, enthusiasts, and anyone with a thirst for the unknown. Then, as mysteriously as it began, the intense wave of sightings started to decline after the mid-1980s. The light show wasn't over, but it became much less frequent. Today, the lights still appear, but you might only see them a handful of times a year, not 20 times a week. Still, the legacy of that golden era continues to draw tourists and researchers to this day, all hoping to catch a glimpse of the legendary lights. The search for answers didn't stop though. In 1998, a permanent automatic monitoring station was built in the valley. It's still operating 24/7, equipped with cameras and scientific instruments, tirelessly watching the skies. And the footage it has captured is nothing short of incredible. The station has recorded clear videos of glowing spheres doing exactly what witnesses described. A single ball of light splitting into two, the two orbs floating apart and then fusing back together seamlessly. It has also documented bright objects streaking across the sky at speeds that no known human aircraft could possibly achieve, especially not in complete silence. So, here we are, more than 40 years after the sightings first began, and we still don't have a definitive answer. The Hessdalen Lights remain one of the greatest, most well-documented and scientifically studied enigmas of our time. Every theory, from natural batteries to alien visitors, has its champions and its flaws. No single explanation has managed to tick all the boxes and account for the full range of bizarre behaviors these lights exhibit. This brings us to the big question: what are we really looking at in the skies above Hessdalen? Are we witnessing a brand new, complex natural phenomenon that science just hasn't caught up with yet? A perfect storm of geology, chemistry, and physics unique to this one valley on Earth? Or is Hessdalen one of those rare places where the veil between our world and something else is thin? A place where we might have tangible, repeatable proof of something far beyond our current understanding. Now I want to know what you think. After hearing all of this, where do you stand? Are the Hessdalen Lights a scientific puzzle just waiting for the right mind to solve it? Or are they one of the most compelling pieces of evidence we have that we are not alone in the universe? Let me know your theory down in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the unknown. If you enjoy diving into dark and fascinating mysteries like this one, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more. We'll see you in the next one.